Hey guys, this is Darren from Asylum Road, and you're listening to the Dan Chan Show. Tune in, it's set off.
I'm joined by Darren, Paul, and Brian from Derry Asylum Road Band. How you doing tonight, guys?
All good.
Great
good,
to
Dan.
have you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. So, are you all quite local to each other in Derry? Now, I always get confused. You'll have to just my UK head on here, like my English head, so to say. Derry, Londonderry. Obviously, it's the political side of things. Someone can explain that for me, and the world, because this will go out in the States, etc. So,
do you want to take that one, Darren?
Go on ahead. So yeah, obviously, Derry, Londonderry. I mean, we always use both there anyway whenever we're chatting, because obviously the politics here is a lot more contentious than most places in the world.
Yeah.
So I mean, everyone here more nationalist or Republican would call it Derry, and then you would have sort of more the English side, the Unionist side, the Protestant side would call it Londonderry, because that was the charter name that was given to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, nowadays it's not really as much of a flashpoint as it was, say, during the Troubles here. Everybody's kind of moved on, and nobody really cares that much anymore. We just kind of think, oh, Derry, Londonderry, and nobody bats an eyelid, because everybody knows what it is.
That's cool.
Everybody, I think, the respect across the board. They understand. You call it what you call it. I call it what I call it. At the end of the day, we all live here together. So, that's it really. It's so, I mean, it's the same whenever people say Northern Ireland, or people refer to the north of Ireland or whatever. It's you said how you say it, I say it how I say it. At the end of the day, we're all here together.
That's good. I mean, I love Belfast. I think Belfast is. I've only been to Belfast. I've been somewhere a bit further north actually, but Belfast, I think it's one of the greatest cities in Europe. I really do. I think it's an absolute cool ass place. It really is. And I love the Titanic Quarter and how the city is just so rejuvenated. It really is so nice.
That's great.
But anyway, okay, let's get into it. I'll start off because as a band, you piqued my interest a few weeks ago, and I heard one of your new tracks. And start off by telling me about where you come from, musically, influences, and how you guys got together. You're all quite local to each other. So tell me more about how that all started.
Go ahead. One of you boys, if you want to chime in.
Yeah. So we all went to the same school.
Really?
All four of us actually went to the same school.
5 years ago?
Yeah, well, more recently than that. Yeah. Paul still goes to school, but that's he has to. That's his job. So no, we all went to the same school back in the day. Myself and Darren were in a band. After that, Paul and Darren were in a band. Me and Paul never played together. So I went and lived in New Zealand for a few years. I came back in 2022, and Darren messaged me saying, "Do you want to jump on board with this new band and play bass?" I said, "Yeah, I'll jump on and play one gig." Fine. So I'm still here 4 years later. In the meantime, the original guitarist decided he wasn't enjoying it. He decided to head off and do a separate project. And we knew Paul from playing in bands back in the day. So he agreed to jump on board. And Ethan, the drummer who's not here, again, went to the same school, but he was a few years younger than us.
Right.
So it's a very famous school. It's created, I think, 2 or 3 Nobel laureates and Asylum Road. It's done pretty well.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. That's right. you let me down a path there. So where did the name come from? Where did Asylum Road come from?
Me? The newest member of the band. It was Asylum Road was the name that the band had before I joined. But my understanding is it just came. There's a famous street in Derry called Asylum Road. Right. And that street used to have an old asylum, an old insane asylum. But most recently, it's a street where the brew, the welfare offices and stuff is. There's also the police station.
Right.
It's a street. There's loads of student accommodation. So we've all kind of been there at one part of our lives or another. It just kind of fit. It's a cool name for like a metal band. That's the way that I thought of it anyway. I don't know if the guys have a different story, but
So release-wise, you've had a bunch of singles, including an EP released early this year. I think it was in March, wasn't it? And then a new single, Desolate. Is there an album in the works? Are these part of an album build-up, or are you just doing single releases?
We've talked about albums before. I mean, individually in the
Are albums
past,
relevant anymore? I mean, are they relevant anymore?
That's the thing. I mean, you're seeing a lot more bigger bands. I mean, I know Slipknot have talked about it at length, saying that EPs seem to be the way to go. You know, Down have done nothing but release EPs in their last two EPs was part of their fourth album, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I think people nowadays they depend on albums and depend on who it is. You know, there's a lot of disappointment. I mean, I know I was disappointed with Tool's last album. I'd waited years for it, and then I heard it, and I was like, that could have been a 3-song EP, and it would have been awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. I don't know if people. I don't know if we have the attention span anymore. I know I don't. You know, when you're listening to bands,
I know what you mean.
This isn't. Yeah, you know, it's. So I thought, why don't we just get a good body of work, a solid 4 or 5 songs, and just have at it rather than sweating down and diluting down an 11-track album potentially. Yeah. But I mean, it's always in the works. You know, we're always talking about it. And if it does feel organic and if it feels right, they go, lads, we have all these songs and they all sound really good. And if we can't fight to fit them onto an EP, then we might just turn and go, why don't we just put all these bangers onto an album? You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's where I stand, and I know that's what we've talked about. But you know, it can change. It could change at any moment.
Go on, Paul.
I think you know, as an independent band as well, still, you know, I think albums are relevant for, you know, the bigger acts. For an independent band like us, who's still trying to constantly fight to get views and get on, you know, festivals and things, just keeping interest is really important. Having constant releases rather than an album and then waiting a year, you know, we don't want to be forgotten about. We still want to be relevant. And it does, it means as well we can be a bit more selective with what we release. We do have lots of songs, and certain songs we only play live, for example.
Right.
So I think that's the direction we're just kind of going on. It's just trying to stay relevant. And everyone's a slave to the algorithm. So that's just it.
And I think I mean I agree with you. I mean, a lot of bands I speak to, they're just doing EPs and single releases, and it seems like that is the way. And you're right, because you got to keep things fresh. You got to keep things relevant to gigs and shows and promotion and everything. So that's quite cool. So how is the writing and recording with you guys? You know, do you take a traditional approach where you get in a room together and write, or is one of you take one lead and someone takes another lead and lyrics, and how does that all come together?
Brian's got a great response.
Oh God, come on in.
Just wait on that.
Unmute your mic, Brian.
Yeah, we've discussed this. So just looking at Desolate as an example. So I wrote a couple of riffs and I thought they sound pretty good. So yeah, you know, I whipped out the home studio and recorded a demo. And then myself and Paul would so whoever writes the riff will bring it in an almost complete structure to the other person, so it's generally me and Paul with the musical side of things, and get the other person to critique and edit your work so that you're getting fresh ears. So I came with the demo. Myself and Paul sat for hours going through it. There's 10 seconds there. Let's cut that. This part repeats. Doesn't need to repeat. You know, could that be slightly? And we spent, you know, hours and hours and hours at it. And then when we got to that stage, Paul rewrites the entire song from scratch. Because he can't let it go. He's like, no, I'm just going to change it. He won't accept finished, and you have to almost like hide him from the. Say, no, that's you're not changing that. You're not mixing that again. You're not changing the. It doesn't need a 7th guitar, Paul. That's fine. It's okay how it is.
Whenever we're writing, I do have we're going to add an extra thing on there, and even for Desolate, me and Darren were doing the vocals, and at one stage there was like 8 or 9 different vocal layers on it, and you know, but this time we actually outsourced and we worked with JSR Productions, isn't it? And it was great just to pass it off, have someone just go, nope, this is what you're doing, and like the outcomes to speak for itself. It's an awesome track, it really is.
I mean, it's whenever I'm sitting writing lyrics and Paul would go, "This is the final edit. This is that. This is done, dusted." I go, "Right, cool." 3 days before we go on to record vocals, oh no, here boys, this is the final edit, and there's three new verses on there, and I'm going, where did they come from? Oh, I had them as an idea for the final edit. Now this is months of sitting on the final edit, but then the final edit is 3 days before, and there's extra verses, and I'm going, Paul, why do you do this to me? But Jay was brilliant, because we went on and it was just me and him. Thankfully, Paul had a tattoo appointment he couldn't make because we would still be there, going through about 500 layers of vocals. But it was very to the point. It was very organic. It was very, wouldn't it be cool if he did this? And I just went along with it, and thankfully the lads enjoyed it too. So our songwriting process is quite archaic, but it works. It works for us.
Do you record at the same place?
Yeah.
So
we actually have our own building thanks to Brian. We rent the whole space,
of course,
and then
yeah.
we practice, write the songs there. But as Brian was saying, normally what happens is, in our own time, we would have a song or a structure, and then like everybody does, program on some drums, get a basic kind of idea, and then present that then to the guys. But all the recordings just done digital. Unfortunately, we don't have the £400,000 to go and sit for months and record songs.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So what about, okay, so when you're doing like the singles, releasing them like this, have you already pre-recorded a bunch of singles, or do you get a song and go, right, let's go and get that recorded? How do you do that?
Yeah, we're given deadlines really. We've got a management company and an independent record label who do a lot of the admin for us. So we've had pre-booked dates, and so it's then a case of if we've got 2 or 3 ready to release, we choose which we think is the strongest or which we think is, right in the moment. Or for Desolate, for example, we'd put together an idea for a video because we were going to play some shows in Europe, and we decided we'd capture as much footage as we could from that and put a video together. So
nice.
We know what the video is, what song suits what we're trying to put out here, and we've got those dates booked months in advance, and then we just have to hit the deadlines when the time comes.
Do you find is it difficult to replicate the same sound as you did for some tracks you might have recorded a few months ago? Is it always like the same settings? Is it quite nuanced?
Normally for guitars, I'm pretty basic when it comes to guitars. I'm pretty standard. It's a 5150 with a tube screamer in front of it. You know what I mean? But at times we do kind of change stuff up. And again, with the digital, it's working with Josh this time. I just sent off the A tracks, and then he re-amped everything. So whatever settings are on his. But no, we can't replicate the sound. We don't really sit down and say we're definitely this sort of band, or we're definitely this, one or the other. We all like similar style of music, be it from like death metal right on to like kind of sludge. I think it all kind of combines really good. And there's elements of a lot of stuff kind of in there. But we don't set out to write the heaviest song or song that sounds a certain way. I think together, if we just go, this is cool. This sounds good.
There's a lot of groove there, a lot of dime bag there, you know what I mean? Which I hear. So as a guitarist, are you always coming up with riffs? Are you always like humming riffs into your phone when you not have a guitar near you? How does it work?
I write all my songs in my head on my car. I never hum them onto the phone or anything. And I've just kind of always been the guy, even learning songs, I just listen. I've got a fair idea of where it would go on the guitar. But like even Brian knows if anytime I'm sitting playing guitar, I'll just record something. Oh, that's kind of a cool riff. And it's recording. I've got banks and banks of riffs.
Listen,
I might never see the light of the day.
I mean, I'm a drummer, and I wake up in the middle of the night with guitar riffs in my head, and I'm a drummer. So, but
Aye.
so I imagine if you come up with something that's like, have you seen that guy on Instagram with that the guy that you hum a riff to him and he plays the guitar?
Yeah.
You see that? That's pretty cool. So I'm like, I've got so many ideas. I want to send it to him, but as a guitarist, I can just imagine you're just full of like ideas.
Full of ideas, but then the way that I write is I get a rough in my head and an idea of where to go, and then Ethan, the drummer, if he writes the drums, then my guitar rough will change.
Yeah.
Just because as soon as I hear the drums along with it, then it's going, well, this could happen, or the groove's going to change, or something like that. So it kind of always goes that way.
Got you. So with regards to lyrics, what we shouting about? What's the lyrical content? You know, where do you get your inspiration from when it comes to writing those words down?
It depends. I mean, there's normally, whenever I hear the song, so like if Paul and Brian come to me, or just come onto the group chat and they said, we've recorded this, we want to show you this, and I get an instant feel for it. It puts me somewhere, just depending on how I'm feeling at the time as well. You know, I think with Desolate, whenever I heard it, I think the first thing that we joked about was really Lamb of God here, lads. To the point where the working title for a long time was Lamb or God of Lamb.
Right.
You know, so we ran with it because, I mean, we were like, you know, a lot of bands kind of shy away from their influences and stuff and lyrical content. We embrace it. I mean, we love being compared to our favorite bands.
Of course.
Who wouldn't?
Of course.
You know, somebody heard and said to us, man, and that song you sounded like Fallen Selmo, or that scream that you did sounded like, you know, Chuck Schuldiner or Tom Araya. I'd be like, awesome.
Great. Yeah.
You know,
you're doing
where some people
right.
will be like, oh, we're trying to do our own thing and we're trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to reinvent anything. We're just trying to be us. And we wear our influences on our sleeves. So, I mean, lyric-wise, it's kind of, I would dig into a lot of the older influences that I have. Like, as I said, your Fallen Selmos, your Tom Arayas, and Kerry King as well as a big lyric writer. I'll go even further back to Steve Harris for Maiden. And look at some of the older stuff and what they've sung about. I mean, every metal band under the sun has sung about war, or they've sung about hatred, or they've sung, you know, Desolate's the same. It's basically a mix mash of all those old feelings that we've seen on our TV screens over the years. So all that kind of stuff has just evolved. You know, from Slayer singing about Angel of Death way back in the 80s, which is about, you know, Nazi experimentation. You know, They were watching documentaries.
Yeah,
we're just doing the same thing these years on, except everything's in 4K.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
It's literally the same thing. So, I mean, whenever I get the inspiration for lyrics, you know, I'll hear something like Desolate, I'll hear the riff and go, that puts me in a mood just to go to war. And then that's in my head. And then you're just thinking about, I try and make it as poetic as I can and dress it up by lots of synonyms and you know, make it as poetic as I can. Yeah, but again, I mean, all our songs depend on the feel and stuff. You know, I mean, Mask of Oblivion, whenever Paul came to us with that, you know, it was really about mental health, and masking those suicidal ideologies. I mean, again, every metal band under the sun has sung about mental health and suicide at some stage. Yeah. As I said, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to add a wee bit to that.
Got you.
You know, that our metal community. And lyrically, that's where I'd be at. So I could sit down at night with a couple of cans of Guinness or whatever. And there could be a documentary on in the background. You know, it could be about anything, but it starts getting the ideas going. And then whenever I send the lyrics onto the lads, they'll say, I really like this, but, you know, some of the lads will add, can we add this to it? You know, which happened with Mask of Oblivion with Paul. Same with Brian, you know, I mean, everything works between us. I can't play roughs to those guys as well, but like I would chime in and go, you know, instead of going, dun, 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 why don't you go, dun, 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 you know, it's wee silly things, but everybody's adding. Of course. Yeah, of course. Nobody's left out. So, I mean, it's the same with lyrics. I mean, I would do the majority of them, but then the guys would say, you know, it would be cool if you put this on or you added this, and it would really, you know, add to the whole what we're talking about. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we're telling a story. We're telling how we feel from a point of view. So I feel it's important that everybody in the band gets their voice heard through me on the mic then, you know what I mean, and through the words.
Absolutely. Brian, this is a question for you because you probably got your finger on the pulse a little heavier. Because of your having the venue and all that, What's the metal scene right now in the Emerald Isle like? Any new bands get your attention? Is it thriving? What's the vibe?
Really, really positive at the minute. I mean, when I first joined the band, there was an emerging scene, and we're not in one of the bigger cities. We're in probably the fourth largest town in Ireland, so maybe fifth. Not a
Yeah.
large space at all, but um, you know, we've gone and played in places that you may never even have heard of, and played to good crowds. I mean, there was the Sligo Whiplash Festival, which was a great festival. This year we've gone and played in a place called Templemore in County Tipperary.
Yeah.
And you turn up to this town, and it's a one street town with a tractor driving down, and you think there's a metal festival here.
Right.
And you walk through this door in the side of a rural pub, and there's several hundred metalheads standing there at a stage. Same with Cavan. Marty down in Cavan has the Scream For Me festival, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
We're going on Saturday. We're heading down to a town called Enniscorthy down in County Wexford.
Right.
We'll be expecting a few hundred people turning up there. So it's one of those ones where in the small towns they might only have 1 or 2 gigs a year. So people are hungry for it. They're excited for it.
That's cool.
It's not like in a big city where you can go and see your choice of 3 or 4 bands every night. This is the metal festival, and everyone gets to it.
Yeah.
And then in the towns themselves, I mean, our good friends Curse Sun played a great gig last night in Belfast. Looked to be a really good crowd at that.
Yeah.
They're a great band. I would definitely suggest having a chat with them. Our friends in the Risen Dread and Necronomicon, they're both touring. They're both getting across to Europe to play. There's heaps more bands. Nomadis, great Belfast band, they're coming back. We're playing with them in September. They've just had a year out. So Belfast has a really good scene. Dublin has a really good scene. Limerick has the Siege of Limerick, which we'd love to get onto. That's the Siege of Limerick is the mecca for Irish metal bands. That's where you'll be at.
Yeah.
We haven't had the invite just yet, so if they're watching, give us a shout, lads. We'll come and play. No worries. But yeah, it's starting to grow here, and as you said, I've got a small space for developing bands and practice rooms and venues, and I was there last week, and there's lots of teenagers now turning up, doing what we did when we were 16 and 17. They're playing the same songs.
Right, yeah, of course.
They're still playing Enter Sandman. There's Korn covers, there's Rage Against the Machine covers. It's all the same stuff we were playing when we were. So definitely real positive feel about the place in terms of metal.
Really cool. Now, you talk about shows, Paul. How prolific are you live? Are you playing a bunch of shows? Do you tour? Do you just play on the island? Where tell me about your gigs.
Gigs. Well, when I joined the band, we just kind of had a chat and said we're just going to focus on writing. Kind of took about a year away from live gigging, and then I had my first gig in 15 years.
Really?
Guys, it was actually in Voodoo in Belfast.
Yeah.
As the guy said, we're not just playing any old show. The thing is, we're playing shows that seem to be good, seem to push the band, and then we got a excellent opportunity to support Ectomorph.
I love you. I've had them on the show. Yeah, great.
Yeah, so they were in the tail end of their European show, so we got to play 3 awesome shows with them.
Yeah,
along with another 2 excellent bands, Ivory and Memento Damnata. So a German band and an Italian band, and that really was, an eye opener for us, because growing up, me and Brian actually had this conversation on where you're always wondering, first of all, are you ever going to make it to that kind of big stage? And like the first show was in the Fleda Club in Brno, just outside Prague. Capacity of 1,500 people, and when I walked in, I seen the big stage and thought, shit,
yeah,
am I going to be good enough? Is this going to be above me? But no, just whenever you're there and you're on stage and the crowd's with you, it's brilliant. I just try my best not to fuck up. That's it. Just try my best not to mess up. but no, it's awesome. And then we kind of after the tour, we had a couple of local shows. Played Belfast, played Tipperary, and then we just went back on the right mode. As Brian said, we've got deadlines now, so it and pressure from things on, just to get the song for it to get out there. But now, we'll be playing this Saturday, and then we've two awesome shows in September, one Belfast, one Dublin, and then we're just going to go back, trying to get back out there again. Reaction management, we're in talks with them about maybe getting some sort of tour across the water in England, doing a UK run. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Have you been over to England or Scotland or Wales?
Not just yet. No, we're in talks with a couple of other bands that are on Reaction about doing what they call a Reaction road trip.
Yeah.
So we get across there, we'll bring them across the off. And it's really just focusing on that. Focusing on getting on the festivals. That's really where it seems to be at. It's just playing festivals, playing these bigger shows, the bigger crowds.
Yeah. So as artists, what do you prefer? Did you get into music to create music, of course, but do you prefer the studio or do you prefer the stage?
Stage.
You know what? They both have their pros and cons. Really, it's excellent creating something, but creating something just to leave it sitting, isn't good. And whenever we created like the first track that I wrote for the guys, Sarah, and then that became the title of the first EP, like straight away I just thought, I'm on to a banger here. This is brilliant. And then sort of, and myself shied away from this could be good. This could be really good. But you know what? It's awesome then. And I've never been like, I've grown up being in bands, never been in a band where I've actually seen fans. We're going to Tipperary and seeing people wearing Asylum road shirts and people singing songs.
Yeah.
Going, shit, this stuff's pretty cool. So it's a mix of both.
And Darren, you agree?
Live's awesome.
Live is where it's
live all the time. It's for me.
Yeah.
Live's where it's at. I mean, I hate the studio. Like everybody that's recording with me is going to be all like, but like, I mean, it's been positive. You know what I mean? It's just, I feel kind of, I don't know what the word, like a stifled wouldn't really be the right word either, but like I can't enjoy myself the way I enjoy myself live, the way you're seeing people reacting. Obviously, it's an important thing to record because you're getting your music on the media that it needs to be on so people can sing along with it live. You know what I mean? So it goes hand in hand. So without the recording, you don't get the live experience whenever you're seeing, as Paul was saying, you're turning up the shows that you haven't played before, or you've maybe played once or twice, and you're seeing people, your band merch and singing your lyrics back to you, and you're like, this is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what it's all about, and just cracking a beer and going, this is why we got on that, and it's,
of course,
it's the same as the lads. We all grew up loving the same music. I mean, a lot of us came from listening to stuff like Zeppelin and Deep Purple and Sabbath and the Doors and the Eagles and all the stuff that maybe our parents might have listened to, or a cool uncle, or an older friend or whatever. And then obviously as the years go on, we get on the heavier stuff, and then we've all played in our own bands and then getting together. I mean, it is about showing those influences, but showing what we can do. I can't sing like Robert Plant, but I love the man, you know what I mean? But it's showing those influences and showing the love, and it's live. It's everything's live, like, and that's whenever you hear your favorite artist and seeing them, it's a whole different view.
Of course it is. Brian, you're going to say studio, aren't you? After all that, after all this sycophantic love for the stage, you're going to go studio.
The studio is a necessary evil.
I agree.
There's a type of enjoyment in it. It's nice to hear a final version of something, or
of course,
nice to take something from your head and make it. And that's only happened in the last EP and the new single, where you've been able to hear something and that's what actually turns up at the end of the process. So that's quite sad. But there's a big difference in listening to something for the first time and saying, "Oh, that's pretty good," and sticky floors, beer, smell of smoke.
Love it.
Love warm beer in a plastic cup, hook it to my veins. That's what I'm doing. That's
exactly. Totally agree.
The studio is hard because sometimes it flags up how bad you are at guitar.
Right.
Bass,
Yeah.
bass. It's easy.
Well, as a drummer in the studio with a click track, it's the worst shit ever. You know, I don't be playing to a click track at any time in my life. No, man, in the studio with that pressure. Oh my god, I hate it. Right. Well, I've got some fun questions.
Oh, shit, lads. Catch you later.
Brian, nice to see you, man. Take care. Yeah.
Cheers, Tom. Take it easy. Chat soon.
Cheers. Thank fuck he's gone. I'm joking. Bringing us down. No, I'm joking. All right, I'm joking. So I've got some fun questions, right? So some easy going questions just to get a vibe, right? So I'm going to start with you, Paul. What's one thing everyone should try at least once?
How PC you want me to?
You can do what you want.
Everyone, something that everyone should try at least once.
You're thinking too hard about this, man. You should have just jumped
You know
up.
what, darn you answer that one.
A finger in the bum.
Finger in the bum. I want to say anal was the first thing that came to my mind.
Well, I said finger in the bum. You went to anal. Whatever you like, bro.
Let's not linger on it too long because I don't want to get quick fire questions.
Right, okay. Quick fire.
If you could, this could even tie into the last question. If you could, especially with your answer, if you could know the truth to one question, what would it be?
Truth to one question. What dogs think?
Yeah. I like that. Personally for me, Darren.
Are we alone in the universe?
Right. Okay. What would be the perfect murder weapon and why?
A spoon.
Oh, why?
I don't know. It's just
it's not obvious, is it? You can get away with it.
Really takes your heart out with a spoon. I just think it would be cool. It would be blunt, painful, but also it's like it kills you with a spoon. Like how pathetic are you to kill you with a spoon?
That's the best answer I've ever had, Paul, for that. I mean, you could literally put it back in the cutlery drawer and no one's going to suspect a thing.
No one's going to suspect a spoon.
Blunt force trauma. In fact, there should be like a 200 Stab Wounds new track, you know, murdered with a spoon or something like that. There should be a track for that. I can really delve deep. Darren's thinking, I can see his lyrics head going now.
I'm already there. I'm ready to share.
Darren, you got to top that. You got to top that question though. That answer.
I've always thought, and it's ever since I watched Die Hard 2, murdering somebody with an icicle right through the eyeball, and then it melts. So like,
would it be? Would you go across the head vertically or horizontally? Where would you?
Oh, just jamming
it. I
just
see.
Right under the eye and just give the brain an old mix and the old optic nerve. Give it an old shake.
I love the fact that Paul came up with one of the best answers I've ever heard, and you've already thought about this question before, Darren. That's absolutely poetic for me. Okay, if you here we go. If you could steal credit for any piece of art, song, film, book, etc., what would you claim and why? I'd have the recipe for this beer, I think.
That's a good shout.
Steal credit. Mine's for music. For music would have to be Domination.
Okay.
Written by Pantera.
Yeah.
I can steal credit for that, yeah. Art wise, my favorite artist is Francis Bacon. So any one of his pieces of work. He's famous for the piece that's on Batman. You know, whenever first Batman, they stop him from spraying on, so that.
Go on, Darren.
I would steal any of the top 5 Beatles songs just so I could retire.
Yeah, well,
and never have to worry about money again. And then in terms of just being absolutely cool and badass, I would claim to have co-written Terminator 2 with James Cameron.
Yeah, that's class.
And then I'd be like, oh man, you're such and such, and I'd be like, I'm the dude that co-wrote Terminator 2. What have you done?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. Okay, if you could have any superpower, what power would you have and why?
Mine would be the ability to go invisible.
Yeah.
Because
you say because that's just the greatest thing, right? You can't you do anything.
If I just went invisible, you go invisible.
Go anywhere.
Just like steal a pile of shit.
Yeah. Just pints of Guinness floating around.
Yeah. Plus, if you did, we've all been in like a party where you're like, oh fuck, I just want to get out of here.
Yeah.
Invisible, leave.
Yeah. I'll just leave anyway if I was invisible or not. But yeah, go on, Darren.
You've sort of touched on mine there with the moving Guinness. If for every Guinness that I drunk, I would get $1 million quad. That would be my superpower. That's very good.
Well,
your answers are incredible. Imagine that. Okay,
everybody would be buying me pints.
I think Paul, you've answered this question so far. What would be your wrestling or boxing walk-on song be?
I don't know the name of the song, but it's in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and it starts off. It goes bum bum. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Bum, bum. Yeah, it's like a dum,
Okay,
dum.
bow.
Yeah. And I just walk right on.
Yeah. Wow, I've never had that before. That's the first. Darren, your answer
It's
amazing.
hard because, like, Shawn Michaels has the greatest theme music of all time. Like, I mean, just walking and calling yourself a sexy boy. I mean, how do you top that?
Right. Yeah.
I would have the exact same music, except it'll be in Irish. So you'd have somebody shouting sexy. You'd have everybody in Ireland shouting "sexy boy" as Gaeilge. I would just retire. I would retire happy after that.
I love that. Right, here we go. What fictional character do you identify with the most, and why?
Fictional character. I used to be big into World of Warcraft, when I was younger.
Right.
And I always chose an orc named Sindor. So I'm going to just go with an orc.
Okay, an orc, yeah.
Not really fancy. He hasn't got a lot of grace and just kind of forces his way through life.
A monster, yeah. Darren?
Part of me wants to say Batman because he's my favorite hero, but I'm not gonna like him because that man is so focused. So, and I'm completely the opposite. And I like my booze. I don't know. I would say Barney Gumble maybe from The Simpsons.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, what's your unpopular musical opinions, or an opinion each?
The Beatles are overrated,
mate. That's mine. That's mine. That's mine. Nice. That's what I say every time.
I was recently in Liverpool, and everyone kept telling me, because I'm in a band. Oh, the Beatles, and after about 2 days, I really don't like the Beatles.
That's fine. I mean, I say that when I interview a band and they say, "What do you mean?" I say, "I think Beatles are overrated." But anyway, Darren, what about you? You're disagreeing, but what's yours?
Well, on the Beatles thing, first of all, fun fact: my dad is actually called Paul McCartney. There's one. My popular opinion: this one always starts fights in the band because we're all Toto fans, but I believe that Africa is the greatest song ever written.
I think it's a good one.
Yeah, boys are all Hold the Line.
Why?
I'm a Hold the Line fan too. I'm a big Toto fan.
I think Hold the Line has one of the greatest riffs ever. One of the greatest solos ever.
It does, but Africa crushes it every single day of the week for me.
Yeah. It's a classic. It's classic, right? Okay. Should non-metalheads wear metal shirts?
Yes. Spread it far and wide.
Yeah. Okay.
Spread it far and wide. And you know what? I'm guilty of wearing T-shirts from bands that I've never listened to, and people approach me, they'll name me one song. I've got clues. It's a fucking cool T-shirt, and you know what? It's great because bands get supported no matter what. So yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I used to be really against it up until, and you're going to laugh at me whenever I say this, up until one of the Kardashians wore a Slayer T-shirt, and I gave birth to one of the greatest T-shirts that I own, thanks to our friend Mr. Holt.
Kill the Kardashians.
The moment I seen the Kill the Kardashians T-shirt, I went, "This is what it's all about."
Right.
This is it. So yes, wear it at your own detriment. Whenever the real metalheads then make fun of you.
I mean, I remember walking into Meadow Hall H&M and seeing a Danzig tank top. I was like, in the women's section, I'm like, what the? I mean, yeah, great licensing, but Christ, what? Why is there a Danzig tank top in H&M in Sheffield? Right. Anyway, okay. Who do you think the next legacy band is? Who are we going to be taking our grandkids to go and see in stadiums? Do you think stadium gigs are going to continue? Because I think they may drop off for metal. Because who's coming through? It could be controversial. You could say this Sleep Token thing, which I'm not really on board with, or the Ghosts, but they're going to die out. So what do you think?
I don't think stadium, I don't think we're ever going to get a band as big as Metallica again. No. I think that just the music industry itself has changed, but I think the next big legacy within...
I'll say Rammstein as well. Drop Rammstein there as well for stadium shows as well.
Yeah. I love the band Bleed From Within. From Glasgow. I think they're awesome. Yeah. They're on the up. I think they're going to go far.
Yeah. Darren.
And as like Paul said, he's not a Ghost fan. I'm assuming you're not. I've seen them 3-4 times.
I like Ghosts. Of course.
Yeah. I think they're brilliant. But as you said, that's on the decline. I mean, you're not going to get an Iron Maiden. You're not going to get a Black Sabbath, a Metallica,
No.
Where again, those
No, of course
bands.
not. Because they came from a time when there was no other bands coming through, and it was literally you had to get a record deal to be signed. Everyone can release music now, so that's not special.
I think, and even the funny thing is, I mean, even bands that are huge nowadays, like Lamb of God, I mean, we're not going to see them filling out arenas the way the huge. I say big bands. I mean, Lamb of God they're massive.
Yeah, I know what I mean.
I think it will decline to a point then where it'll just be kind of maybe mini festivals inside stadiums.
Yeah.
Not Metallica. You're going to see Metallica or the two bands underneath them. It'll be maybe a full day in the 3 Arena or the full day in Wembley.
Yeah, I get that. That would be a cool. I think you're right.
Sunday, you know what I mean? I think that maybe it could be the future where you're not going to get one giant band. You're just going to get a whole.
I can't see. I think the metal in stadiums is going to end in the next 10, 15 years. Sadly. Unless obviously you get
you know what? I actually think metal suits indoor venues anyway.
I agree.
Like recently, we went to see Metallica there, and I seen Gojira. Gojira's one of my favorite bands, but they didn't sound as good. And I just think metal, you need to feel it more than anything else.
I agree.
You get that.
I agree with that. Okay, what is your personal, and I don't want you to dwell on this too much because you should be able to have a quick answer. Each of you, who is your Mount Rushmore of metal artist? Not band, just each individual artist. Could be a bass, it doesn't have to be 4 vocalists, 4 drummers, whoever you want.
Oh,
right. Metal.
Whatever you want.
Have to be metal.
No, it could be whatever you want.
No, my Mount Rushmore, my favorite artist, 2 of them would be Rabia Massad. I think he's one of the best guitarists modern going. English guy. He plays for a band called Foyer and kind of releases his own stuff. And David Gilmour from Pink Floyd.
Yeah. How many have you named then?
2.
I need 2 more. It's 4 faces on Rushmore.
4. Rabia Massad, David Gilmour, Joe Duplantis from Gojira, because I play his signature guitar, and Jim Root from Slipknot.
Yeah, okay. Darren?
That's good show.
Darren, you're getting it quite easy here because you're having more time to think. So, Darren, I do appreciate your speedy answers here. Off the top of your head, like it.
So, obviously, Phil Anselmo from Pantera, Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy. I'm Irish, have to represent the big man.
Of course, yeah.
There'll be another Phil for the hat trick of Phil's. Phil motherfucking Collins, the GOAT.
Yeah.
And Robert Plant.
Right. Like it. Okay, we discussed earlier about killing someone with a bicycle or a spoon. If you'd done that in California, you might get the death row. You might get like the electric chair, whatever. What would your death row meal be, Paul?
Right, mine's just in 3 parts. I know it presents this all
a starter, main course, and dessert.
Right. Starts off in the morning. You get a stack of pancakes with loads of butter on top, crispy, streaky bacon, and buttery scrambled eggs covered in maple syrup.
Nice.
Just an excellent Americano. Then we have a break. Then for lunch, maybe get a wee bit of carbonara and maybe a bit of chips. And then we start then on the beers. Right. And then we have another wee break, and then we go on and we have a massive double quarter pounder cheeseburger, all toppings, crispy French fries, red sauce, an extra large Coke, and then a funny same with some vanilla ice cream.
Jesus Christ.
And Maltesers.
Maltesers.
It's Death fucking Row. It's not a 5-star hotel.
Yeah, you know.
Fucking burgers and chips.
Fair enough.
Darren, you keep it simple.
Man, I'm going to die. Who gives a shit what I'm eating? Give me 20 Guinness and a bottle of Jameson and just fucking lights out.
Yeah. And a bag. I'll chuck a bag of nuts in for you, Darren, as well.
A bag of nuts, a couple of packets of Tito cheese.
Potatoes, yeah, we'll sort that out as well. Okay, so let's get back into the band bucket list. What's on the horizon? What do you want to achieve? What's it going to be? Like you mentioned, Paul, when you did the gig in was it Prague or where we did it?
Brno.
Oh yeah, Brno. So what is it going to be that you think? Oh my God! Right, the next stage for Asylum Road that you're going to go. I feel like we've made it. I've done my Ganges. For me personally, it was when I played Rock City in Nottingham main stage because I grew up in that venue. Or I went there every weekend. So actually, to play the main stage was my Wembley Stadium. I felt like if I never played drums again, I'll be happy. What's yours?
For me, I would love to play one of the big festivals in Europe.
Yeah.
Like Vakken
Vakken,
or
Hellfest.
Download or something like that would be amazing. But realistically, I would love to just be the go-to band to be like support for big bands coming across there. That's what I would love to be at.
That's very cool. Darren?
Basically the same as Paul. I would say something like Download, because it was the first big rock festival that I ever went to when I was a teenager.
Do you think Download still got it though? I mean,
I think it does. I mean, Ethan went it, our drummer. He could attest to how good it still was, and the pulling power that it still has. I think it's obviously become a lot more family friendly and a bit more mainstreamy.
Yeah,
but I think it still has the sway to pull on some of the biggest acts on the planet.
I think Bloodstock's only just down the road from that, and I think that they've kind of like just taken that seriousness back into the scene in the Midlands.
Kicking the mantle. I mean, Bloodstock is what Download was 20 years ago, I suppose.
Exactly
now,
right.
the way people look at it. I mean, either or. If I could play any of them, I would be quite happy. Do you know what I mean? But as Paul said, even for our gigs here in Ireland, up and down and the length and breadth of the country, if we were somebody's go-to, like if Crowbar is one of my favorite bands of all time, and I've been badgering everybody. I was like, look, boys, whenever Crowbar come along, I've even messaged like Pat Bruders, the bass player. I was like, look, dude, if you're coming, let us know. We'll support you, no problem. And he's responded back. And if we could be those go-to guys, they support those bands. I mean, and these are huge bands as well in their own right. I would be happy with that, but it's just kind of that, yourself, man, as a musician, playing the tours, playing the circuit, meeting new bands and bands that you've looked up to and becoming friends with them and just being part of the, influencing other people. I mean, that's when I know I've made it. If somebody's come up to me and goes, man, you're my vocal hero, that's when I know I've made it, I
love that. Now you've got your WhatsApp chat in the band, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your most used emoji in your phone?
It's a drunk Darn.
It's a sticker. It's a sticker. Oh my god! You've got to send me that. I've got to put that on the post or something. I've got to do something with that.
Somebody got a photograph of me. So obviously I'm a big, same as Brian, big Derry City FC fan, and somehow, somewhere, somebody always finds me at the matches, and there's one of me just screaming, like from right at the sidelines, screaming at a player, and it's thrown on every time there's an argument or every time somebody's saying something or shouting. It's just me shouting just to kind of calm everybody down. Or it's like, are we all ready to go out drinking tonight? And it's just that emoji of me just shouting. So it could be anything.
Yes, we are. I mean? Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Either that or the opera singer taking a boner.
It's not an opera singer. It's Ang Postecoglou. It's the Spurs manager.
Yeah,
so it's him just
Forest manager as well. And now, who is he managing now? Someone like Saudi Arabia or something.
He's away back down to the southern hemisphere somewhere. That man just went to Celtic.
He's made his money. He's going to fuck off.
That's exactly what the Spurs won them their fucking first European Cup, and then they just go, not good enough, sacked.
He made about
mentality.
I think he managed Forest for 39 days and got 4 million for it.
He got sacked out of Spurs he got sacked out of Forest after Spurs. That's right.
It's mad. Listen, guys. Darren, Paul from Asylum Road, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'm looking forward to hearing more of your music, maybe seeing a gig, and wish you all the best.
Dan, cheers, man. Thanks, man. Loved it.
Cheers, Dan. Thank you, brother.